no meeting next Sunday.
What do we do?
You've come to enough, Al. You're excused the rest of the time.
Sign leave now. No,
But
anyway, I really enjoy these meetings.
Good. No meeting next week. I will be out of town celebrating my wife's birthday, so we're going to Boston actually. I was hoping that Boston would still be in the playoffs, but
Is your birthday the next week?
no, I'm in June. No, no, my birthday's in June. So, but no. So anyway, yeah, no meeting. I thought about having someone else do the meeting, but it's just going to be too much. So take a break. But we are going to have probably an extra meeting added to the end. So still the same amount of meetings. So and I'll also say this: not that today's won't be a good meeting, but the next 2 to 3 meetings that we have, the last meetings that we have, will be some of the best meetings, especially if you're new. It's really good for anyone, but as a refresher. But the newer officials, especially, it'll be very, very good. One of them will spend in the classroom going over court coverage, responsibilities, lead, trail, all that kind of stuff in the classroom with video and whiteboard and stuff like that. And then another one will be on the court actually doing the same thing. So we'll talk about it. We'll be on the court. We won't be like in uniform or anything like that. So you don't have to get dressed for that. But Mr. Pendle, how are you, sir? Good to see you. All right. By the way, if you haven't already gotten rule books and all this other information up here, you're just coming in. Come on and get that. Grab those now. But those 2 meetings will be really good. And then there'll be one other meeting that we'll probably have. Basically, it'll be philosophy. It'll be philosophy of officiating, dealing, communication, in-game type stuff, dealing with coaches, dealing with players, dealing with your partners, what to call, what not to call. I mean, we've discussed a lot of that already in the meetings we've already had, but we'll go into a little more detail on philosophy and when to give a technical foul. Just a lot of different stuff. It's one of my favorite topics. Because I just like it, and I'm a little bit outside the box in that than some other groups or assigners might be, but not too far out the box, I don't think. So anyway, but yes, Al.
Are we going to take a test this year?
If we do, I'll send it to you. I haven't found a test yet. I will probably begin that search in the next week or so. And send that out to you. Send your test to Shane. So you can get a good grade, is that why?
No, I just think the test is pretty good just because you do, not pass, fail, but just to look into the rule book and get more familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I do send a test out, it would be an open book test. Yeah. I would want you to send me the answers, but you don't have to take it from memory or anything like that. It's really about going into the that's perfect. Get in with the group and do it together, or it's really just about you individually even getting into the book and learning the rules. And so today that kind of springboards us to today. Our focus today is primarily going to be on violations. And their penalties. I wanted to get to that last week, but we didn't have time. We've been going through a lot of stuff with fouls. So we've spent 3 weeks, in essence, 3 weeks talking about types of fouls and legal guarding position and all that kind of stuff, which is a big part of the game. So I felt like that was super important to make sure that we discussed all those things and have a really good foundation in that way. But now we're going to go into some violations, and their penalties, and we'll spend a good amount of time looking at videos on several different things as far as violations are concerned. And then if we have time at the end, we'll just have a little extra session on like a pregame, spending a few minutes with your partner before the game, and discussion points on that. So some of those type of things are hard to get into. I could put it in the philosophy meeting, but there's so much other information in the philosophy meeting. So I want to try to get some of that information out, if we have the time. So we'll see how time allows. But I have lots of video for violations today. So we're going to start with, obviously you can see we're going to start with out of bounds, okay? And again, just for the sake of video, as I always say, please you can ask questions, you can be involved in the discussion. I want you to be. But if you do, try to get my attention, or when you do speak, make sure you speak a little louder so that the camera can catch most of it. I have a mic, but you don't. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right. So we're going to start with out of bounds, and we're going to go right into our first play here, if I can get to it. Now this guy here is the one that I agree with most of the time, but not always. One of the plays we had last week was the incident. He thought it was incidental contact. Wayne brought it up before the meeting. One of our plays from the video last week was it incidental contact or not? It was two players running side by side, going to try to get a ball that was passed inbounds, and there was a lot of contact there. But anyway, so. I say all that to say that this guy has a lot of good content. It's called the Officials Institute. If you want to look up his content online, it would be good. But I don't agree with everything he puts out, so probably about 75%. Anyway, this is a lot of the resources we're using. So, all right. So we start with the first play here. This is the ball hitting an official. Okay. So we'll let the play happen, and obviously there's commentary which we don't get because technically. Inept, apparently. So you can see now. I'm going to stop it. Well, let's watch it in slow motion here, and then I'll stop it. So it hits the official right there. Okay, can everyone see? I mean, obviously we can't see 100% if he's on the sideline or not, but it looks like he's in bounds. Would everybody agree with that? The official's in bounds. Okay, so by rule, our rules say that. If it hits an object in bounds, which is typically it's other than a player, it's going to be an official. That's the only other object that it could possibly hit in bounds. Then it remains in bounds. So the official basically is part of the floor. Okay, so it's like the ball hitting the floor if it hits an official when the official's in bounds. However, if you as an official get hit by the ball and you're standing out of bounds, any part of the line, or out of bounds, and the ball hits you, then that ball would be considered out of bounds. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's the lesson in this clip more than anything is that if the ball hits you inbounds, it's inbounds. You let play continue. No whistle. Try to get out of the way if you can. Obviously, you can only do so much. If it hits you out of bounds, the ball is out of bounds immediately. Okay, so we play on. If it hits us inbounds, we blow the whistle. Just like we would if it actually goes out of bounds, if we're standing out of bounds when it hits us. That's the first one, okay? All right, so that's really it for that one. He continues to go with commentary, too much commentary. But okay, the next one, again, now this is a ball that goes over the backboard, okay? Now, we're going to have some discussion on this as well. All right, so let me ask the question. Is the ball out of bounds right now? No. It has hit the top of the backboard.
Because the top of the backboard's in bounds.
The top of the backboard is in bounds. Okay, again, this is another common misconception amongst, even people that have been involved in the game in a long time. Okay, usually it's fans, but even some coaches don't understand that the top of the backboard is still in bounds. Okay, so we should not have a whistle here yet. Because the ball has hit the top of the backboard. Now, if the ball were to hit the support in any way, okay, so, obviously you got the supports that start down here at the bottom of the backboard, make their way up and go, extend out there and that way. And behind the backboard, there's some braces and stuff that are holding the backboard on, obviously, okay? So if it hits any of that stuff, then it would be out, okay? All right? If a lot of, or some gyms will have not many of our gyms, but some gyms would have like a shot clock. The shot clock also would be considered out of bounds if it hits the shot clock, okay? All right, so but based on what we see so far, ball is still live, ball is still in play. There should not be a whistle. There's not been a violation. All right, but then what happens is it travels behind the backboard. Okay, and so when the ball travels behind the backboard, it then becomes out of bounds. Okay, even though it hasn't gone out of bounds on a on a line, okay, it's behind the backboard, which would then, by rule, be out of bounds. The only thing I would say about that, and this one is, it's not super clear, but it's clear enough, okay? Don't split hairs on a play like that, okay? If you have a ball, let's say the shot is taken and it hits the front of the rim, bounces up to the opposite side of the backboard, and it doesn't hit the actual top of the backboard, but just kind of goes over the corner, okay? It doesn't fully go over the backboard, behind the backboard. It kind of goes over the corner. Don't split hairs on that. There's no reason for us to stop play on a situation like that, okay? Make sure if you're going to call a ball out of bounds on a play like this, that the ball clearly goes behind the backboard, okay? All right, so now I'm going to ask the question, let's say, I don't have a play like this, but let's say the ball is out of bounds on the sideline there. The referee has put the ball in play on the sideline, on the end line, I'm sorry. And the player, let's say a player from this side tosses the ball over the backboard, from behind, over the backboard for a little alley-oop dunk there. Is that a legal play? If it comes from behind and then out into play, is that legal? Question. If it comes from behind into play, is it legal or not legal?
Legal.
Does anybody say it's illegal?
100%. As long as it doesn't touch anything.
If it clearly comes from behind the backboard, so even if he's not throwing the ball in, let's just say he's standing in bounds right here. Let's say that let's take this question. Let's say he's got the ball right here and he takes a shot from behind the backboard. It goes up and over and in. Is it legal or illegal?
Legal. You see that all the
Larry
time.
Bird used to make them all the time.
Yeah, in the NBA. Different play. That is not legal. That is not legal.
So
It is not legal to come from behind the backboard, over the backboard, and go in the basket. That is not legal. Okay. Now again, if on the throw-in, which was my first question, on the throw-in, if it kind of just goes over the corner, we can probably allow play to continue, especially if it's going to be a slammer jammer, a highlight reel. Let's not call it unless it's obvious. Okay, but on a play like a clear ball that goes from behind the backboard and over and into the basket immediately, that's illegal by rule.
So
Okay.
if the kid's falling out of bounds and he throws it up, it goes over the backboard, goes in, no basket.
Clearly behind the backboard and over and back into play, that's out of bounds.
Is the
Yep.
difference it going in the basket as opposed to a person?
No, it's not. No, by rule, it's not. That's not the difference.
So a throw-in that's already started out of bounds can't go over either.
That's what I'm saying. So if it's clearly behind the backboard, yes, out of bounds, it travels over the backboard, doesn't hit a support or anything like that, but then comes into the, on the front side of the backboard. Yeah, that would be a violation. That would be out of bounds.
The rule just says it's very simple. It says when the ball is out of bounds when it passes over a rectangular backboard.
Yeah, and it doesn't say which way it passes over. Exactly.
But if it starts out of bounds with a pass, it still can't go over because it's not changing. Doesn't become.
Is the ball live or dead when?
It's dead.
No.
It's live when it's handed to the person.
When the player has the ball is live. So you now have a live ball that's passed over the backboard,
Okay,
right?
you're right.
Okay.
You're gonna
So
have a lot of, you gotta
Well,
read the
aga-
rule and tell the.
again, make it obvious. You call it, make it obvious. That's all I'm saying. On this particular play, a ball over the backboard, either side, either way, make sure it's obvious.
You would never
Okay.
have a situation where you have someone throwing the ball out of bounds from behind the backboard because no matter what, you're going to move them.
You're going to move them out, and my example was kind of a cross, an angled pass. But yeah, that's going to be difficult too with the supports there. It's not an easy thing to do.
And the lead official should not make that call.
the lead official should not, you're correct, the lead official should not have primary on a ball that goes over the basketboard on either side, okay? It should come from an outside official, whether it be center official or trail,
Right.
okay? Depending on the side of the basket.
Watching the wrong
Yep.
area.
Very good. Good point there, Al. Thank you. You see, you do contribute. I'm glad you're here. Sometimes. So, all right. All right. Okay, next play. Sorry, whoops. All right, and you can see this is good because I paused it. I didn't do this on purpose, but I didn't pause it, but he paused it. Okay, you can see. Sorry. Yeah, I thought I paused it. Sorry, and then it kept playing there, but that's okay. I'm going to go back just a split second. All right, so check this out. So you can see the lead official is not looking up there. That's good. Like, the lead official should not be looking up there, okay? He should not be taking his eyes up there where the ball is. He's looking down here at these players, okay? Which is good. That's where he needs to be. So that's a good extra little learning point there, okay? All right.
Hey, Tim, just
Yeah.
take it one step further. A lot of times the ball will just roll on top of the back.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and people, again, think it's out of bounds.
Right.
I've seen it just roll
It can
all-
it can hit multiple times as long as it doesn't hit the support or go fully over. Yep. Very good. All right, next play. Okay, so this is basically a last to touch, first to touch situation. I don't know if you saw it live. They'll show it again in slow-mo. But the white player here, the defender, number 3, that just is frustrated with the call that he just got called on. Okay, so he tips it there, and then he tips it there, and then he steps out of bounds. Okay, and then he steps back in bounds and is the first to touch. All right, so what's the rule on that? Is that legal or not legal?
He can't come back, go back in.
Last to touch, first to touch.
Yeah, he can't go out and back in and touch the ball.
Anybody disagree with that?
happens a lot on the end line.
Does anybody disagree with that?
If
Yeah.
he's out of
Established in bounds, right?
Once he gets both feet back in bounds, then he can.
There you go. So the last to touch, first to touch does not apply to an inbounds and out of bounds. It applies to backcourt situations, which we'll get to later, okay? As long as you're reestablished in bounds, and it doesn't have to be both feet. You can have one foot in bounds and the other foot in the air. You are reestablished in bounds. You don't have to have established both feet, but in this situation, he does. He's clearly established in bounds before he touches the ball again. So that's a legal play. Okay? And it was called a violation by the official, but that was the wrong call.
Unless he was considered to be dribbling, which I don't think.
Yes, well, correct. No, the ball was loose.
Controlled by a dribble and went out of bounds and came back in and picked it up.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That wasn't.
That's correct. But that wasn't the case because he was defending, and he basically just tipped the ball. So you can see here, they'll show it again in slow motion.
Yeah, he was just kind of
So tip there,
that other guy.
tip,
Yeah, that's all.
no dribble.
That's not a dribble in a way. And I'd probably
Yep.
be talking
And then he steps out of bounds, and then he steps back in bounds and gathers. That's good. That's a good play, legal play. Okay. Next play. I forget what this one is. Oh, okay. All right. This is a good talking point here. This one's interesting, but it's a good talking point. So let me pause and everyone see the play. Did everyone see the play? It was basically a pass that the defender deflected, and then the offensive player touched it. Now, the referee here in trail, right here, gives it back to the same team because he didn't see the offensive player deflect it. Okay, but so what's happening right now is the coach has said something to the center official, okay, about the fact that the offensive player touched the ball and it should be going the other way. Okay, so what's this brings up a good conversation about what the proper protocol is for this kind of stuff. Okay, first and foremost, let me say this. It is not this official's responsibility to come in and give him information on that play. Okay? Does everyone understand why?
The lead is closer.
Yeah, lead can if necessary. So if this official blows his whistle and asks for help on that play, which this goes into another conversation, he really shouldn't because it's his, I mean, it's like right in front of him. That's all he's got to referee. Okay, so he shouldn't be asking for help. But if he does, or if he needs help, in this situation he does, okay, it should come from lead. But this official is coming not because he knows if it hit the player or not. He's coming because the coach has asked him to come, and the coach thinks it went off on him, which it did, okay? All right, but, okay, so again, what's the proper way to handle all that, okay? Remember, it's not his responsibility to come in and give him information that it touched that player because, to be honest, he's not really. That's not his primary. It's not even his secondary. Okay. However, it's still okay for him to come and have the conversation with him, in my opinion. Okay. Primarily because the coach has asked, and the coach is not going crazy about it. He simply asked that official. We don't know what he said, but I can assume that maybe he said, "Hey, can you just check with your partner and see if he saw something different? It looked like the offensive player touched the ball."
But Tim, if you work in a two-man crew, and I'm just gonna say this happened to me. I done this, but I was over in Greer, and forgot man, coach's name, doing a girls game, and they was playing Woodruff. Well, Woodruff brings the ball down the court. Now I was trailing out there watching. I seen the ball go off her leg. What did I do? I blew my whistle and get right back to Woodruff. We went Carlton Green. That's who it was. Remember Carlton Green?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
He hollered at me and said, "Hey, it went off her leg, and you gave it right back to him." And my partner, he was on the other side of the court, So I said, "Yep, we're going this way." So we'll just got to go. So next down court, I just told him, I said, "Sir, Carlton," I said, "I blew it." So
You missed it. Yeah.
And I said,
You missed it.
But if you run in a two-man crew, you on your own. You better sell it and go.
Yeah. If you're running a two-man crew, it's a different conversation. This is for a three-person, obviously. And again, what I'm saying to you is because the coach asked him, and the coach, from what we can see, we're not listening in, but what we can see, he asked in a respectful way. So it's okay for him to come over, which he does. He comes over, has a brief conversation with him. This official determines to keep it keep it blue ball instead of giving it to white, and nothing else happens. But so it's really kind of a nothing burger on the play, other than the fact that I wanted to discuss the best way to handle that type of situation. Okay, as far as your when you should help and when you shouldn't help. Okay, and what other times would it be appropriate for you to just come over and have a quick conversation with your partner? And in this case, because the coach asked, it's okay to come over. Hey, coach said he thought it came off or went off a blue. Did you see it? Are you 100% sure? And then you walk away and let him make the final decision, the calling official, this guy, okay? Which is what they did, okay? Anyone else want to add or ask any other questions about that type of situation?
The only thing I would say is, if he's just verifying he was sure about it, I would just ask the lead. Did you have anything else?
Yeah,
If
which
he didn't,
yeah.
stay with what I had.
Which, if the lead has something, the lead shouldn't even have to be asked. The lead should just come up and give the information, especially since they're coming together and having a conversation about it. So if you're in the lead in that situation and you do see something different, then you should come up and give that information. Again, if that happens, it's still left up to the primary official to make the final ruling. You go and you give information. If you have the information, you go give the information and let the primary official live or die with it after that. Okay? And so literally you can, and I've been in this situation before, where I've had a coach say to me, hey, that ball went off of white, and I saw it go off of white. Okay, but the player calls it out, off of blue instead, or the referee does, my partner. So I go over to my partner and say, hey, that ball went off of white, and I walk away. Okay, and my partner stays with, well, it went off of blue. So I go back over to the coach and I say, look, I gave him the information, coach. That's all I can do. Right? So now that opens up the secondary conversation about, again, this is part of philosophy, okay? Because here's the thing. I'm not saying in this situation because that referee came to him primarily because the coach asked him to, not because he had really information to give him. Okay, does everyone understand the difference there? Okay, but if the lead were to come to him and give him information, hey, that ball went off of blue. All right, that ball touched blue last. If that happens, if someone comes to you, if you go to give information, you go 100%. You go with 100%, like I know I'm right. Okay, if someone comes to you, you also have that same thought process in mind. They're only coming to me because they're 100% sure, okay? And so I'm going to take the information that, if I'm the one that's receiving that information, I'm going to take it and go with it. You know what that does? First of all, it shows that the crew is all on the same page. We're working as a team. We're trying to get the play correct, okay? So that's one. The other thing it does, though, is if you're the calling official and your partner comes and tells and gives you help, it now puts the onus on your partner. If your partner's wrong, he's the one that came to me and gave me the information. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, look, we're not necessarily saying that to a coach, but that could be a situation later on where I get a video, I get a film from a coach and says, look at this play, like, you know, whatever the case may be. Well, I can see that Al came up and gave Wayne information, and Wayne took the information because based on what we know as officials, Al's only coming if he's 100%, and Wayne's going to take the information because that's good crew dynamics. Okay? But the video shows something different. So that's the kind of conversation we have. So now instead of it being Wayne's fault, and Wayne's not going to get a phone call from the assigner, Al's going to get a phone call from the assigner if a phone call is necessary. Does everyone understand that?
Hey,
Okay?
let me tell you this. If I ain't mistaken, this happened with Tim and I and another guy. I forgot who our partner was, and I made a terrible call. I mean, and Tim looked at me, come up to me, and said, "Nuh-uh, this happened between you and I."
It's happened. Yeah, it's happened. I mean, I've get.
Like, we got a trend here.
Yeah. Al was probably the third.
Yeah.
Al was over there with the deer in the headlights look. No, I'm
I
just
know
kidding.
We're not talking about war stories. I will tell you an example.
Thank you,
real
Al.
quick.
As you
I was
begin to
underneath-
tell one.
I was underneath the
Talking about war
basket.
stories, but here's
I was underneath the basket, first round of the playoffs, Blue Ridge and Broome. I got Mike Owens, who was one of the best officials in the state, and another guy who was top.
Anyway,
Ball goes in the basket on last second shot. I mean, I'm underneath the basket. I see the whole thing goes in. Horn goes off. Next thing I know, they're over there in front of the coach yelling and screaming, and they wave it off. And that coach, coach from Blue Ridge went crazy. So we come into the locker room. Another official who was in the stands came in and said, "Why'd y'all wave that basket off?" And I have told them 3 times the basket was good. I know for 100% it was good, but they waved it off. So when you know 100%, I think you should stick with it. Obviously, you're not paying attention to it.
I am paying attention to you. So you're saying you shouldn't take the information if you know 100%. I mean, it's ultimately your decision, and that's fine.
They came to me and said, "How'd you see it?" I said, it's not my area, but the ball went in. It was a 3-pointer. It was good.
Yep.
Count it." And
And-
they said, "No goal." I said, "Okay." So we went
Well-
in the locker room. I just told them, I said, "Oh, this is not a 3-point game."
The question is, was it ever seen on video? Was it good or not?
Well,
That was before video. That was like 60 years ago. Just
we love you, Al.
we love you, Al. Yeah, thank you.
You got one more go, and I'm gonna be out of here. No, that was during video, but it was not sent. And the game was a blowout. I mean,
Okay.
thank goodness.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, I could tell you a war story too, a similar situation. Same kind of thing with the ball, with the last second shot. It was in the first half. So, and it was a 2-man crew. It was a JV game. Let me just get to my next spot here as far as where we're going to queue up for the next play. Okay. All right. Okay. So And then we're talking about shots here instead of out of bounds, but it's a similar type of philosophy. If you're going to go give information, you need to be 100% on the information. If you're not 100%, you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go give your partner information if you're not 100%. So anyway, I'm working with a newer official. We're working a JV game. This was years ago. And it was actually at Spartanburg Christian, which I still assign. And the calling official on a last-second shot to end the first half, waves, or he counts a basket that for SCA, okay, that was clearly like shot after. And well, in my opinion, it was clear, okay. But the SCA coach, who at the time was Chris Arp, some of you may or may not know him. He's retired now. He was very emotionally charged, very vocal. Yes, okay. So I go to my partner when he counts the basket, and I say, I'm not going to say his name, but I say, look, that ball was not. We should not be counting that basket. It was still in his hands when the horn went off. So we waved it off, okay? Well, here comes the SCA coach who's just screaming bloody murder at me, Tim, and of course he's calling me by name. Tim, I can't believe, blah, 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 this and that, okay? Well, we go in the locker room. The only thing I said to him as I'm getting chewed out by him as we're going out the door, and I didn't tee him up or anything like that because of the situation, is I said, Chris, I want you to look at it on video at halftime, and you come back out and tell me. And if I got it wrong, I'll admit it. So he looked at it on video. He comes back out with his tail between his legs. He says, Tim, you were right. So again, it's just one of those things where you have to go. You go when you know the information that you have is correct. Okay, when you know. If you don't know, you don't go. Okay. And on the other side of that, that's why I'm saying if you do know and you do go, your partner should also understand that and take the information, okay, because of that. All right? We all make mistakes. We all miss stuff. Clearly on that last play, that guy missed the tip by the offensive player. And he was not wise enough even to take, the extra time that was taken to talk to him about it. He was not wise enough to take that and say, oh, I should give it to the other team. No, he decided he was just going to, stick with his ego and his pride and get the play wrong. Okay, anyway, that's the point behind all this is like don't allow your ego to get in the way of getting the play correct. All right, good. Okay, moving on to kicking the ball, okay? So these are good too because there's obviously a misunderstanding, a misconception in these types of plays where, some people think that anytime a ball touches a player's foot, it's an automatic kick. That is incorrect, okay? So first and foremost, a kick must be an intentional act, okay? So, and it's anywhere from basically hip down, leg, any part of the leg or foot is what the rule says. So hip down, intentional act, okay? So if the ball is thrown off of my leg or thrown off of my foot and I don't move to stop it from its path, that's not illegal. Okay, that's a legal play on type of a situation. All right, so let's look at a couple plays here. I'll look at it again. Now we're watching it live, so you have to make a determination live. When you watch it slow motion, you'll think differently.
Yeah, he sticks his leg into the passing lane.
See how he puts that leg out into the passing lane. All right, so that is a kicking violation. That is illegal. Okay.
Good call.
All right. Yep. Good call by the official. All right. Next play. I think this is during COVID. He's, they got their mask down at their neck, which again, don't get me started on that, please. Don't get me started on that kind of stuff. Okay, this one's interesting, and it's hard to see, but okay, so that's the slow-mo of it. I mean, do you think that was an intentional act, or do you think that that was just his normal movement and he just so happened to come up with the ball? What do you think?
Yeah, that's intentional. It's gotta be. Yeah, that's like that's like a beanbag hacky sack move.
Do it one more time.
Was that? Oh, that was it. That was it for that one. Yeah. So when I first so here's the thing with that one. That one was tricky for me. See it as COVID. Anyway, going back to the last play, I'm not gonna rewind it, but for me in live play, that one is going to be difficult. I probably am not going to call that in live play, because I mean, if you slow it down the way they did, obviously you can see that it looks like he turns his head and intentionally puts his foot up to kind of, get the ball and continue with his shot, okay? But in full speed live play, that's hard to determine and hard to see. So I'm probably going to pass on that if it's me, because I don't want to interrupt the game unless I'm 100% on something like that, okay? So that's the moral behind that is like, yeah, we slow it down. We see, yes, okay, it's intentional. However, at full game speed, you're not going to be able to pick all that kind of stuff up every single time. So I would, if I were you, err on the side of caution and allowing play to continue instead of calling it. The first one was obvious. That one clearly needed to be stopped and called, okay? But the second one, not so much. All right.
It's a lot more common. I see this all the time.
The foot gather. Oh yeah. So this one is and yeah, you see this sometimes. So here we'll see here. Off the rebound, the ball goes to the floor, and the ball goes between his legs. You can't see the ball right away, but it's basically between his legs as he goes to the floor and rolls over. Okay, now you could call that a travel, but we're not talking about travels. Okay, since it's between his legs, it doesn't matter. You don't have to strike the ball for it to be considered a kick. It just, if you use the ball or if you use your legs to your advantage, to gain an advantage, that's considered a kicking violation. So that's a good call again. Okay, between the legs, he uses it to gain an advantage, to keep possession of the ball. Okay, so that would be considered a kicking violation, which this clown here with the mask on, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that, but.
That's some great mechanics.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Calls correctly. So, okay. All right. So that's a correct call. Just wanted to show you that so you saw it. And then there's one more here. Let's go forward here a little bit. Okay, so this one is you judge whether it's intentional or not. Okay, there's actually more than one contact with the foot on this one. So one there and one there. Now you can't. They're going to give you a better view. That's a long ways away. They're going to give you a closer view. So here you can see the dribbler loses the ball and it hits his foot as he continues to go forward. Intentional or unintentional? Unintentional. Pretty clear. Unintentional, right? Okay. So no violation. Play on. As play continues, the defender here, white number 5, also makes contact with his foot and causes the ball to squirt out. Intentional or unintentional? Unintentional. It's a normal movement. He's just playing defense, trying to get the ball. That would be unintentional as well, okay? All right, so good. So it happens twice on that video, or on that play. Both times they're unintentional. And we would not have a whistle. Play would continue. And you probably have some people yelling, kick, kick, kick in the stands. Maybe even a coach. We've all been there, I'm sure. All right, so that's kick. Any questions about that? We're done with that one. We're going to go on to the next one. All right. Okay, free throw violations. These are good. Video on every, or ad on every video. All right. So our first free throw. Violation here, or potential violation. Shooter leaves early. Now, okay, this is a good talking point because I don't necessarily like this, but By rule, it is correct. Okay. So did you see what he did? Did you see a violation in that? Anybody? Nobody's speaking up. So we're gonna get a little closer here. He called a violation on the shooter. Let's watch it a little closer. So what's the rule say? No, not the toe.
There.
Gotta hit the rim.
So the shooter is restricted and is not supposed to break. Well, it's not supposed to cross the line until the ball hits the rim. Now, yeah, thank you. That's my point. So he does. It's not like he's running in to try to get the rebound. If he's doing that, it's illegal. It should be called. Okay, but with just the step in like that, he's legal until he releases the ball and he takes a step in. This is where my philosophy may be a little different. By rule, if you referee the rules black and white and don't allow anything else to influence your thinking, then yes, by rule that's a violation and nobody is going to like you as a referee. I'm just going to say that. No one will like you, okay? Because, I mean, in my personal opinion, you should let this go, okay? So, but by rule, it's a violation. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to say any more.
Seems like a lot of free throw shooters are leaning in a lot
Yeah,
nowadays.
yep. And look,
How to shoot.
exactly, right? So, and even still, what I'm probably going to do on this is once he has finished that shot, especially if there's another one, which I think there is, okay, I would just walk up to him and say, hey, look, by rule, you're not supposed to step into the lane until the ball hits the rim. So maybe take a step back or just keep your feet stationary until the ball hits the rim. Like, right, by rule, you violated, but, here I am giving you a second chance without calling anything. I mean, I'm not going to say that, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay, but I will.
You're close to violating.
Yeah, I will just tell the player, look, take a step back or, don't step across the line until the ball hits the rim. By rule, you're under that restriction. Okay, and that's what I will say. So then, if it happens again, it's like some of the other situations we talked about where we talk to players before we call something. Okay, then you could potentially call it, like the intentional thing we talked about last week, intentional fouls. First time, if it's excessive contact, but they're just trying to stop the clock because it's the end of the game and they need to stop the clock. Well, you have a conversation with that player. Hey, be careful. Make sure you go for the ball. Second time they do it, well, boom, you can call it that time. Similar type situation, okay? But give them, don't just be that guy. Don't be that gotcha referee from the beginning, okay?
You go to the other side, the other end, and they do the same thing, and everybody's gonna yell if they see him stepping over the line. Then you let one get away and one not.
So now you're talking about consistency between the crew too, because there's a very good chance that it's a different referee that's officiating that play, right? So you have one referee that calls it and one referee that doesn't. Yeah, now you got problems, okay? So really everyone should be on the same page.
On that play, though, the second ref has to know that call was just made.
You got to be on the same page. Yep, okay? You can't just referee the rule black and white, in my opinion. The rules, okay? All right, so that's that one. Next play, next play is delayed, so it's a defensive violation first. All right, so we're going to see it here. All right, so White steps in, and you see White steps in early, and you see that both officials have their arm out like this, okay? No whistle, okay? So this is the proper mechanic and the proper way to do it. No whistle. It's a defensive violation, but we're going to give the offense a chance to see if they can make the free throw. If they make the free throw, this arm gets dropped and nothing's said, no whistle's blown, okay? If they miss the free throw, which is what he does, if he misses the free throw, then you would blow your whistle and give a substitute free throw, okay, for the defensive violation. Misses, they blow their whistle, step in and give them another free throw, okay? All right. Is there more to this one? I don't think so. I think that's it. Oh, double violation is the next one. Okay. All right. Now we got a double violation. Oops. I didn't get to it. Here we go. All right. Now this one's interesting too. and this would be a good one to hear the commentary on, but we can't, but I'll provide the commentary. Okay, so did you see that? So White actually stepped in first. Did everyone see that? Okay, White stepped in first, which means what? They're the offensive team. It's automatic. It should be an automatic whistle. It should be automatic whistle because the offensive violated on a free throw. Okay, so we're not delaying that one when the offense does, only when the defense does. And you can see, I don't know if he's got a count or not, but it looks like he's got his arm out for delay violation there. The trail official or the center official. Okay, I don't know if that's the center or the trail. They're both down there, which is weird. You see how close both of these guys are. I'm guessing the table's going to be on this side, so this guy should be back here, not officiating that play. But anyway, okay, all right. So White steps in first, which causes Black to step in. So let me ask you a question. He says double violation. Do you agree with that? No. The first action is it's dead immediately. So it's a single violation on the offensive team. Okay.
If it's 1-1, to put it out of bounds. If it's 2 shots, he shoots the second one.
Correct. Well, we don't have 1-1, but if it's one shot, if there's one shot, it goes to the other team out of bounds. If there's another free throw, coming, then you just that one is negated and you take the next free throw. Okay? All right, very good. So even though that looks like a double violation, it's not. Now, he also says on here that his commentary says that it's not a double violation. It's a violation on offense. Okay? But if they both go in at the same time, that is a double violation. So then if that happens, what do we do?
We go to there.
Well, if there's another free throw, it wipes out that free throw. Okay, the double violation, if there's another free throw, it wipes out that free throw, unfortunately. But if there's not another free throw and we have a double violation, then we would go to the AP, the alternating possession arrow. Okay, so whoever has the possession arrow would get the throw in.
I got one more question.
Go ahead, Al.
You have that violation.
Uh-huh.
Ball's out of bounds. Team A gets it. Spot throw in.
Yes, spot throw in for a violation. Yes, it's spot throwing for all violations.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Yes, it's a spot throwing. Sorry. These commercials are hilarious, by the way. Just saying. So, the GoDaddy commercials. All right. Okay, this one is I forget what this one is. Oh, we got a violation and a foul. Okay. All right. So now you can't really see it again from a distance at first glance. You don't really see it, but when they close in on the picture. So you got a violation by White in early, and then he takes his elbow and pops him in the head. Yeah. Okay. All right. So how is that administered? Now it's a defensive violation, right? The actual violation is a defensive violation, and he misses the free throw. So how do we administer all this?
You give another free throw.
So he would get another free throw.
Clear the lane.
Are we clearing the lane for that free throw?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He gets how many ever free throws he has left.
Right.
He gets the original one for the violation and how many ever else he has, and then we go to basically the point of interruption, which would be if it's a common foul and no bonus, it's just ball out of bounds for the black team. Okay. If it is bonus, then it would be that player right there would then shoot bonus free throws. Okay.
What about upgrading that, though?
Potentially, you could talk about upgrading. Based on the way that the player doesn't really his head doesn't go back, he doesn't really react. So I don't think it was a real hard.
The swing of the elbow.
Yeah, it looked like it was, but potentially you could upgrade it, but I probably wouldn't. Depends on the situation, the game maybe. The players. That player, if he's been a knucklehead previously, I might upgrade it. But yeah, so anyway, but all else being equal, it's just you give him another free throw, and then Black would get the ball out of bounds or more bonus free throws. Okay, all right, good. Let's see. Yeah. And they're administered in the order they occur, which is good here. So violation, substitute, free throw, foul, ball out of bounds, or bonus free throws. We already talked about that, okay? All right, good. That's free throws. Next
Before we
one.
get off of free throws, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, yep.
Village, like, this is-
You can, yep. Travel's next, but yes, go ahead.
Because you have this a lot, and this is something that I'm not really sure how to deal with. You got guys at the line, right? And this is generally a first half problem when you're playing with that coach is, when you're on that end, it's not the same team shooting, right? But kid's got the ball, he's dribbling, he's getting ready to shoot, coach is like, press, you know, calling the defense. Where it could be disconcerting.
Yeah,
But you don't want to say it's because he's coaching,
right.
right? But we're in a spot where the kid's in his backswing, to put it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Everybody followed the question? The coach is hollering right at the point of the free throw shooter shooting the opponent, and, you know, he's hollering a defensive player, whatever it is, you know, or box out, or, you know.
Or something. He's
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah, he's coaching. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to ignore that. In extreme cases, I may say something to the coach and ask that he not continue to do that, just privately. But I shouldn't say maybe not in extreme cases. In some cases, I would say that to the coach. In extreme cases, only would I actually call disconcertion. Not saying I wouldn't, but it has to be pretty extreme to do that, because that's a hard one, because like you said, okay, he's coaching, and you can't really overcome that argument, because he is. Okay, I mean, yeah, if you're thinking of it from that's like, I get it. Like, you're trying to gain an advantage here, and you probably are trying to skirt around the rules and holler right at the the wrong time, in a legal way, if you want to say that. But it's hard to overcome that. Okay, that if you do call it, it's hard to overcome that, and it doesn't really put you in a good position to. How do I say it? Have a good relationship with that coach, I don't know how else to say that, and that's part of the game. Okay, whether you like it or not, it's important that you have workable you don't have to be friends. I'm not saying you're friends with coaches, but within a game, you have to have the rapport and respect somewhat of a coach, or it's just trouble for you. Okay, and sometimes you can't avoid that. Okay, sometimes you can't avoid that. But on a situation like that, I would probably ignore it. That's just we're getting into a lot of philosophy here, but yeah. Okay, James, you had a question.
Couldn't you just tell the coach to wait to
Yeah.
yelling at the players until the ball's in the air?
Yeah, so yes, if I felt like I needed to address the coach, that's what I would tell him. I would ask that he just, not yell right at the time of the shot, to delay that, or even like, go ahead and say it like when the ball's in the air, but don't say it when he's going into his motion and releasing the ball, right? Yeah. Chris, you had a question?
Yeah. So if you got a tie ball game and the players lined up and the player's about to release the ball and the opponent hollers at him or whatever to distract him, do you call that?
So there is a rule in the rule book called disconcertion.
In Art 3,
Yeah, disconcertion is in the rule book, and yes,
you call that, or would you call that?
I have called disconcertion before. I think I've called it like one time in my life.
Yeah,
One
I've
time.
never called
Yeah.
that.
In that
On a player, that was on a
situation,
player
Yeah, on a player.
Yeah, no.
Right in
Look,
his face, and it was obvious. Yeah.
it's got to be obvious and clearly something that's borderline unsportsmanlike or unsportsmanlike. Okay. Now, I'm not saying give a technical foul. Don't do that. Yeah. Err on the side of, again, I wouldn't give an unsporting technical foul for something like that, but you can err on the side of just, it's disconcertion. It's in the rule book. We don't call it much, so you don't see it much, so it's sometimes hard to for people to understand that outside the officials. But I mean, like, well, yeah, we shouldn't go into war stories, but short war story. I called a disconcertion on Fran Campbell, who used to coach at Wren High School. If any of you know Fran Campbell, he was an absolute idiot coach. I love Fran. Okay, I love Fran. Seriously, I'm not just saying that for the video, but I don't love him when he's coaching. Okay, I called a disconcertion on him once, and he lost his mind. But I did it more out of spite than anything else, even though it was
Yeah.
correct.
What you
Anyway.
don't hear a lot on your point over there is a lot of players yell, I got eight, they yell it, and that's when I just go out and say, guys, tone it down. Because he's trying to.
Just be careful.
I-
Yeah,
I-
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You tell the player, be careful.
You gotta
Yeah,
be careful.
yeah.
Because he's doing exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But,
Yep,
yeah. So hey guys, you just gotta use common sense and
yep.
be graceful.
As much as you can. Yep.
Don't
But
be like Tim.
it isn't the rule, but I am graceful most of the time until I'm upset with someone.
By the way, Fran got a technical
Give the best
before the game
fouls that I've
started
ever
one
seen.
night, so.
I did not give Fran a technical on
No, I'm
that
just
in that
saying,
game.
he's got a technical
Oh, before? Oh, yeah, absolutely he has. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're moving on to traveling. Okay. All right, first play, jump stop. This is a legal jump stop, I believe. We'll take a look at it, and they'll get a closer look at it too. Okay. So that's legal. It's not a travel. It was not called a travel. That's good. We'll come up close here, and again, commentary on this is good too, but here it's going to start here. Okay, so moving player, right? He's dribbling the ball. Come on. He's talking too much. Feet touching the floor. One foot. So one foot's off the floor, one foot's on the floor. He picks the ball up, which basically means that he can. That's called an alight, by rule. It's referred to as an alight, and then he can jump in the air and land on both feet with the ball, and that's a legal play. Both feet simultaneously. Okay, so that's legal. Next play. This one's going to be, it looks similar, but it's not quite the same. So he jumps, look, right?
Oh, yeah.
What does he do? He does the same thing as the first player. Dribbling player, catches ball 1 foot off the floor. He jumps down on 2 feet, legal, and then he pivots. And that's what makes this illegal. Now, again, I'm just going to say I'm not the world's best at travel, nor do I want to be. So in real time, I'm probably not going to call this, and they didn't call it either. In real time, I'm probably not going to call this because my focus is not on the footwork as much as it is on the body contact. Okay, so I say that another way to describe that is that a foul is more important than a violation in almost every case, okay? So I am focusing and looking for fouls. And so if I miss a marginal travel, which this is a travel, but if I miss a marginal travel like this, so be it, okay? And I would, hope that most of you would miss it too, because there's more important things to be looking for. You can't see everything. Yes, James.
So on a jump stop like that, does he not have a pivot foot?
No.
No, no pivot.
No pivot when you jump stop like that.
When you land on
Because
your feet.
again, the rule book calls them the light. So you're dribbling, and when you gather the ball or bring it to your into your hands and stop your dribble, he's on 1 foot, and he's allowed to jump and land simultaneously. He can't even jump and land like you're not allowed to even jump and land like that. That's considered a travel by rule as well. Okay, it has to be a simultaneous. Off of 1 foot has to be simultaneous, and that's good. But then you can't do this. You can jump again, but you have to pass or shoot.
So usually there's 2 options that we're
Pass or shoot. Yep. Yep.
If you lift that foot and you put the ball down on the floor, you're okay. If you put that foot back down. If you start dribbling, that's,
But don't make that your best call.
no.
That's the moral of this story. Don't make a travel your best call. There's a whole lot of other calls that you can make that'll be a lot better. All right, airborne catch, and this might be what I was just talking about. Let's let it play out and see. Oh no, this is saying that he's caught the ball in the air. So, oh, that's hard to see, but we're gonna get a little closer. We're splitting hairs on this kind of stuff. But okay, as he breaks it down, you'll see. So in real time you can't see, but he catches the ball, and then so he dribbles. All right, and then when he gathers, he's got both feet off the ground, according to this guy. Okay, again, this is so like split hair, no feet touching, right? Split hair, kind of marginal stuff, which means that he can do that, and then he's allowed to pivot.
He can step there. He can step through from there. Right?
All right. So all right. So I see. So a travel was called on this, but it wasn't a travel. That's a legal play. That's a legal play.
That looks bad.
It looks bad, but the thing is this is what I'm talking about with travels. Like, and it goes back to what I said before. If you don't know, don't blow. I mean, I said that about going to your partner and giving information. If you don't know, don't go. But if you don't know, don't blow either. Okay. If you don't know 100% it's a travel, don't blow your whistle. Allow play to continue. Okay. That's the point.
Also, even if you do know, sometimes
Well, yeah,
you very specifically fussed at me about wanting a game.
I did.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing when you're calling balls and strikes as an umpire. Your corners, you're low and outside, you're high and outside. If you're not 100% sure and you don't see pinpoint control on that, you let it go and you
It's a ball.
It's a ball.
Yeah.
Every single
Yeah.
time.
Very good. That's a good analogy. All right. Okay, good. One more on travel, or at least one more, maybe two. I don't know. So this is a good one too. We see the step back a lot, don't we? Step back. I love this one. This is good. All right, so he's got the ball. Are we moving forward here? Yep. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so he takes a dribble and he steps back. All right, and that's it right there. So is that a travel?
No.
Why?
He catches while he's in the air.
Is that a light?
1 foot on the ground, but that's in a light, and then he lands simultaneously,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do anything else with his feet, right?
No, he just shoots.
So he shoots or passes. He passes, which is fine. That's legal. Okay, that's legal. How many people have you? How many referees have you seen call a travel on a play like this, a step back? That's not a travel. That's a legal play. But I've seen that called 1,000 times.
High school get like the NBA.
I have seen that called 1,000 times, and it's incorrect. That is legal play. Now, the next play we're going to see is similar but a little different. The difference is he doesn't land simultaneously. So another step back. Did you see that one? They'll show it closer. I wouldn't call this a travel either, but by rule, it's a travel. Like I said, I'm not trying to be good at travels. So it's off the dribble. Yep. Okay. He's dribbling the ball. He lights off 1 foot. Steps back, left foot first, then right foot, and then he shoots. So by rule, that's a travel. However, I'm not calling that a travel. Okay? It's part of basketball. No, yeah,
Would
look.
you call it if he doesn't do that off the bounce, if he's just holding the ball
No,
and then he steps back?
I would not. But by rule, it probably is a travel, but I don't call that I don't call that one either. Because and the reason why is because it's part of the game. It's part of the game. It's an accepted part of the game. And again, this is philosophy and not, not textbook rule book, but
But all you officials better be on the same page.
I agree. You catch more heat if you call it than if you don't. That's my thing. And so again, I'm just, and that's not so. Yeah, we'll talk more about philosophy, but just yeah. I don't want to confuse anybody, so hear me out here, okay? If you know it's a travel, by rule, you study the rule book and you know when a travel is committed and when it's not, okay? You call the travel and you get your travels right and they're right on film 100 times out of 100. If I get a film sent to me and it's a correct call, if I get a film sent to me on a complaint and it's a correct call, the argument's over. I tell them why it's the correct call by rule, and there's no more conversation. Okay, with this I'm talking about with the coach and stuff. Okay, however, if it's an incorrect call, which is usually what happens, okay, incorrect calls on fouls, violations, whatever it is, okay, is you give videos, I give video on those. Now I have to have the conversation. I have the conversation with you as the official, but I also have to deal with the coach or the AD on why it was called and how we're going to get better at not calling it. Okay? So my point is you got to know 100%. Make it right. Make sure it's the right call, okay? Don't guess, especially on travels.
Tim,
Yes.
back to the light.
Mhm.
So if both their feet are up so that it's not in a light, are they allowed to land 1-2 as opposed to jump stop both feet at the same time?
So both feet are in the air when they catch the ball, right? And yes, they are allowed to do that, but which one would then be their pivot? So if I land like this, which one can I move and which one has to stay stationary?
Left foot has to stay stationary.
So I can do that, right? And that's legal, okay? But if I do that, that's illegal. That's
Well,
travel.
You put it back down, right?
Well, yeah, I can pick it up. I can pick it up, but once I put it back down, it's a travel.
Can you step through out of that?
Yeah, yes. So I catch it in the air. I do this. I can step through like that with my right foot. That's legal. But if I step through with my left, it's illegal. But again, that's what I've already mentioned about, in real time. Sometimes it can be hard to determine that, and that's not where that's not where my full focus is on. My full focus is not on the feet. Okay? In most situations, my full focus is going to be on body contact, stuff like that. Yeah, you're supposed to referee the defense. Thank you. That's a great point. You're supposed to referee the defense. So if you're refereeing the defense, you're not always going to see what the offensive player is doing. I just feel like there's too much of an emphasis on, we got to get every little travel. Like it frustrates me to no end literally see a travel called when a guy ball fakes and does a pivot and then puts his dribble down, okay, and starts a dribble. He hasn't dribbled yet, okay. So like technically that's a travel, but why? Why are we calling that? That's a game interrupter. That's probably the one that I yelled at you about.
No,
Something like that.
break.
On a fast break. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say, you're not gonna have a film on a fast break when they go boom, 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 lay it up.
3 steps is a travel.
It's a trap.
It is.
Boom, boom.
If they go boom, 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 and
Unless you're the only one who can
and
kick
slam
out
it?
and blow your whistle.
Well, it depends on the game.
No, I mean it's yes. Look, again, by rule, if the video shows it, especially on a 3-step, even if it's going to be slammer jammer exciting, the crowd's going to go crazy, you got to call it, But if it's anywhere close, don't. If it's anywhere close, don't.
That was the lesson I learned.
Yeah.
Let the player make the play.
If it's anywhere close, don't call it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the quote is, "You're the only one in the gym who knew that was a travel."
Well,
You're the only one in the gym that wanted it to be a travel too. Nobody else wanted it to be a travel, including the other team. That's the point.
Calling box is the same thing in umpiring. You don't want to be known for calling box.
well, you just, like you say, it depends on the game, depends on again, common sense.
All right, good. We're going on to backcourt violations, okay? So I got a bunch of backcourt violations. which, we see these all the time. And so let's watch the first one here. And this kind of sets up the rest of them for us. All right. So now what makes that a backcourt violation?
All three's across.
First of all, what do we have to have? What do we have to have to maintain, to have full front court status in this situation? 3 points, right? 2 feet and the ball. All right. Now, it could be 2 points if I am in the front court. So let's say this is the backcourt line, the division line, okay? And I have the ball, this front court on this side. I have the ball and my right foot in the front court. My left foot's in the back court. If I pick this foot up, I now have full front court status, even though I've only got 2, and this foot's in the air, okay? That's full front, so I can't put that foot back down in the back court, okay? But before I have that full front court status, if I'm here, I can go all the way back. I can go back and continue as long as I don't violate with a 10-second backcourt count. I'm legal to do that. Or if I have 2 feet in the front court and the ball is still being dribbled in the backcourt, I can go all the way back with no penalty, okay? So you must have 3 points across to have full front court status. And that's what this one shows, because he has the status and then the ball bumps off his backside and goes back into the backcourt, okay? Which then when he touches it, first to touch, last to touch, first to touch, next to touch, last to touch, whatever, it's now a violation, okay? So that's kind of the first one. These are fun. These are NBA.
Teammate comes and grabs the ball.
This is just inappropriate, but I thought it was funny. No. What? No. No, these are all NBA plays, but these are good. So hang on. What were you asking, Al?
I'm just clarifying if he just did that and his teammate came and grabbed the ball, he's still backcourt.
Yes. Yeah, him or his teammate, correct.
First touch, last touch.
Based on the
All right.
team, it's based on the team, last touch.
Yep. So some of these are pretty obvious. These plays that I'm showing now are going to be pretty obvious, and then some are very interesting. So let's look at them. So we got a tip, and then all right, so what do you got there? Did you see it?
Yeah, that's because the offensive player slapped
So the defensive player tipped it, but then the offensive player, the screener, okay, controls it back, pushes it back, knocks it back to his teammate who goes and gets it in the backcourt. So is that a backcourt violation?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a backcourt violation.
That's what's his face right there on the.
Chris Paul.
Yeah,
That's-
that's making the call right.
Oh, the ref. I don't know who that is. I can't tell.
The Scott will be there.
Scott Urbina. Yes.
Al.
All right, so that's good. Even though the ball's tipped away, there's still team control, right? Team control, there's still team control. And then that is first to touch, last to touch. First to touch in the front court, first to touch in the back court. That's a violation. All right? Good. Next one. Tony Brothers, there you go. All right, so possession on a rebound, right? So is there team control on a rebound?
Nope.
Not until someone possesses the ball, right? But you can see that he possesses the ball down there on the end line. He catches it, and his partner had to come up and get that. So right here we have team control in a pass out, and boom. And isn't that Tony Brothers again? Right there? Is that the same official that misses the call? That's not. Oh, that's not. Yeah. Okay, but this is a backcourt violation. All right, good. And the center official has to come in and get it, even though it's the trail official's responsibility.
Hey,
All right.
question.
Yeah, Al, go ahead.
Let's say he threw it back and the defensive player, it goes off his hand and then goes in the backcourt, just like that. What do you got?
Okay, have we lost team control? Do we still have team control on a defensive tip?
Yes.
We've already talked about team control. Okay. Yes, we have team control on a defensive tip, so it would still be a violation. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Based on that,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right.
it could not be a back.
That's correct. That's the backcourt violation. There's an exception to that. I apologize. Yes. Yes. That is not a backcourt violation. I'm sorry. Yes. My bad. Good job, Brian.
He got by. I mean, turned his knife.
Yeah. I know. You're right. Defensive tip. Yep. Because, and just remember, last to first, whatever. Last to touch in the front court, first to touch in the back court. That's the right way to say it. Okay. So, because the defensive player was the last to touch it in the front court, the offensive team can be the first to touch it in the back court. All right, good. Okay, next one. This is pretty. Oh, what do you think? Back court or not? So based on what we just talked about a few minutes ago. Now look, the referee called it. NBA official made a mistake. Can you believe it?
He had his foot on the line.
He did.
And the ball was still behind. The ball was still in the back court as well.
Correct. So he did not have all 3 points. Therefore, that is a legal play. And the official missed
They're
it.
making $250,000.
That guy is probably. Yep, clearly not a backcourt violation.
That foot was even not over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, next one. That's pretty easy. Clear possession there. Yep, clear possession. All right, let's go to the next one.
He can shoot though, man.
Same thing, clear possession, backcourt violation. Like I said, some of these are obvious. There's a couple more good ones.
Fill it up.
He's not the brightest bulb. But
He can shoot.
All right, this is a good one. All right, what do you got?
Was that a throw in?
Yep.
No, there's no. If off the throw in, there's no backcourt.
So the offensive team was the last to touch in the front court and the first to touch in the back court.
With
Look,
team control established.
He never
last to touch,
but he didn't have control.
Yeah, no player.
first to touch. Violation or no? No violation because
No team control on the floor.
it's a throw-in. It's a throw-in. There's an exception on a throw-in, and there's no team. There is team control by rule, but on a throw-in there's an exception. There's an exception on a throw-in if there's no player control. They can, there's no front court status. Therefore,
Show it, but on a throw-in, you can be in front court and leap and catch the ball and come in back court. It's still legal. On a throw-in.
on a throw-in only, yes. There is one here during live play, not on a throw-in, but there's an oldie in here that's a good one at the end. So, all right, let's keep going here. This next one.
So, beach ball.
Oh, that one. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it was. They'll show. All right, so he's dribbling, and it doesn't touch the defensive player, and he goes back and get it. Now the official's saying that it touched him, which hey, great sell there, but that's the wrong call if you're actually watching the play. But again, here's the thing on that play. What I would say is, again, the official is not focusing primarily on the dribbler, which you really shouldn't have to do when you have a high-level player. You should not have to focus on the dribbler. I'm not going to be staring at the dribbler to make sure that he doesn't double dribble, okay, as an example. All right, I'm really watching more of the defensive player. Now, if you do, you can make an argument that in this case you could watch the defensive player and see that the defensive player doesn't touch it. But I guarantee you that official's focus, it's not this guy. He's out of the picture. The official that's primary on this play is not even looking at the play. I bet you 100% he's looking down like toward the basket for some reason. Okay? Now we could back it up and see, but let's see. Let's see if I can find the official in the picture. Nope, this is after the fact. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, look, see, his head is down here. Look, you see the guy, you see his head. Where's the official? Right there. Okay. He's not even looking at that. Okay, which look, I've been in that situation. Like, I'm not really. I don't have to have a count. Like, this is the NBA, so they don't have to have a count or anything like that. Okay, he probably should be officiating that play, but his head is down here. He's kind of looking at this right here, even though that ref is. So he's not really refereeing his primary, but he's not focused on that play. So he doesn't see whether it's tipped or not. But then when he sees it goes into the backcourt, he just real quick, he sells it. Yeah, it was touched, right? Okay. So, I'm not saying like that's the worst thing to do. You probably want to be officiating your primary in that situation, but at the same time, that's not the end of the world. Like, I'm not super upset about that one, but I'm just saying that's more of a philosophy thing again too. But the right call is a backcourt violation, okay? Let's see, next one here. Oh, we're still on this one. Come on, let's go forward. Let's get the next play. Yeah, we're spending too much time on this one. This is the classic one right here. Old Johnny Starks play for the Knicks against the Bulls. So check this one out. Here comes John from the front court, jumps and catches in the back court. What you got?
You are where you are till you get where you're going.
There you go. So he had front court status, caught the ball in the air, comes into the back court. That's a back court violation. That's an oldie but a goodie right there. And it was against the Bulls. That was huge. That was, 93 Eastern Conference Finals. We had the Knicks number. Sorry, just saying. I'm a Bulls fan, so I was back then. I'm not an NBA fan anymore, but.
You were a Bulls fan when they beat my Utah Jazz.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there you go. Backcourt. And I hated John Starks, just saying. I hated John Starks. Did you have a question? Go ahead, sorry.
Even if he catches the ball completely in the backcourt, that's still a backcourt.
No. If he gets his feet in the backcourt, like. Yeah, if he runs into the backcourt and then catches the ball, that's legal. It's the fact that he jumped from the front court, which means he has front court status, caught the ball in the air and then landed in the backcourt. He has to land. He would have to land in the front court, but because he landed in the backcourt, that's what made it a violation. One or 2 feet. All right, this one I think is pretty obvious too, and this will be the last one here, but. Oh, yeah, he just passed it. Yeah, that's stupid. That's just dumb. That's just dumb there. Okay, that's a violation there as well. Okay? All right, next one. See you, Ron. Okay. All right. Actually, I think we got more backcourt plays here. Let me get out of this and I think that's it, actually. Get out. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it. That's it on that. So that's it. We're pretty much at time. We got 5 minutes here. So again, let's do this instead of going into the pregame thing. I'm not gonna have time to do that. Let me do the signals, because I didn't do the signals for all these. Okay. We did signals last week with the fouls, so I want to do signals with the violations as well. So if you have an out of bounds was the first one, right? So out of bounds is you want to get in the habit at all times, if possible, to put your arm up. So a foul, and I didn't even say this last week, but if you have a foul, you should go up with a closed fist. Okay, all right. A violation, you're going to go up with an open hand. All right. Always with the whistle. So whistle with the foul is a closed fist. Whistle for a violation, open hand. And then it's followed by the actual infraction on a violation. So it's whistle, open hand, and an out of bounds is just you're simply going to point in the correct direction that we're going, and call the color out loud. So it's whistle, open hand, white, okay, or whistle, open hand, blue, okay. All right. Now, when I am doing an out of bounds signal, I want to at all times I don't ever want to turn my back to the court or players as much as I can. Help it, okay? So you saw what I did there. If I have white, I'm going white. I'm open. You guys are the court and the players, okay? All right. And I did that for blue too. I have whistle and here. So you see how I'm still open here, and I just pointed, not looking where I'm pointing, okay? I'm looking back where all the action is, but I'm pointing in the other direction and calling the correct color. So you always want to do that. When you're on the sideline, okay, it's you can use your other hand as much as possible. Like you also don't want to cross your body when you point either. Okay, so you don't ever want to do this. Okay, instead you want to do this. All right, and then same thing with the other way. I'm going to go with the other hand and point in that direction on the sideline. And on the end line is what I just showed you. Okay, more on the end line doing that. Okay, so that's your out of bounds. Super simple, but you want to, when you blow the whistle, your open palm, you're going to always point in the direction, and you're going to always call a color, and you want to call it out loud. So you're going to want to spit the whistle out if you're using a lanyard, which most of you will. I don't, and there may be some others that don't. But take the whistle out of your mouth and verbalize the color. Okay, but do not say off a blue, white ball. Okay, that's way too much verbiage, okay? You're simply going to say white, okay? All right, that's what you're going to do. You call the color, that's it. If you say off blue, white, or whatever, then somebody might think that it's, you're giving it to blue, okay? So the point is just use as little verbiage as possible to communicate the appropriate message. White, okay? All right, and use your voice a little bit, all right? So that's out of bounds. The next one was what? What was the next one on the videos? Free throws were the next ones? Okay, so free throws. All right, so again, we already talked about the delay and on the defensive violation. Offensive violation is immediate whistle. Again, you go up with the open hand, and then you just simply, no basket, and we're going to give the ball to the other team for a throw-in, or we have a delay, and then we have a whistle if it's missed, another free throw. That's it for violations on free throws. The next one was, I feel like we're missing one in between, but okay. Traveling was next. Okay, so travel. The backboard out of bounds. Yeah, that's just out of bounds. So it's the same. It's the same thing. Okay. All right. Travel. So it's.
Kickball. That's what it was. Kickball.
Thank you. Thank you. Kickball. Okay. So it's whistle and just stick your foot out. Some people point to the foot. That's fine too. Okay, but it's whistle, kick, and again, verbalize it. Okay,
That's
all right.
Full leg. That's a new rule, not new, but used to be from the knee down. But
Yeah, that's not a new rule. It's any part of the leg, which I said earlier. Yeah.
But
It's been any part of the leg for several years. Okay, it's okay. It's all right, Al. Good job. All right. Huh? It's new to him. There you go. Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. Okay. So that's kick. Thank you. Next one's travel, whistle, open hand, and 3 or 4 revolutions, and then you're going to point a direction and call a color. Okay. So beep, travel, white. Okay. All right. Just like that. All right. Or if you're going the other direction, and you're going to want to kind of pivot, and blue. All right. Again, keeping your body open. Whenever you're doing these signals, violation signals, you're always keeping your body open to the court. Never turning your back, never cross body or anything like that, okay? The next one was backcourt violations, okay? So whistle, and then this is also, that's the signal. It's palm up to palm down. This is also the signal for a carry or palming violation, okay, which we didn't show or talk about, but that would be your signal for that, okay? And then we didn't talk about this either, but you also have the double dribble, which is just 2 hands like this, okay? What other violations did we not look at on video that you guys can think of off the top of your head that need a signal? Any? Is that all of them? Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now, the only other thing that we haven't done is when you do, to finish your violation, you're always going to basically communicate what happens next, okay? So if I have a travel, it's going to be beep, travel, white, spot, okay? So that's how I finish. Spot throw-in for white right here, okay? All right, or if I have, a kicking violation, same thing. Beep, kick, spot throw-in for white, okay? So I'm always, and you're going to do this for fouls as well. So if I call a foul, it's a non-shooting foul, okay? I've got a block, non-shooting foul, spot throw-in, All right, I point to the spot where we're going to put the ball in play. So if it's not right in front of me, it might be on the sideline. So I might spot over there, at the 28-foot line or whatever it is. And then I'll go, if it's a foul, I'll go and report and potentially switch with my partner. And that communicates with my partner. That's where the ball's going in. And that also communicates with everyone else, playing the game. This is where we're putting the ball in play, spot throwing. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Everyone follow that, understand? Okay?
On throw-ins, just make sure you're on the right side of the person. If it's going this way, you want to be on.
Though there's some other violations that we didn't talk about. Throw-in violations.
3 seconds.
3 seconds? Okay. All right. So we're not going to talk about 3 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. No, a 3-second violation is just 3. Okay. 3 in the key. No, sorry. Just 3 seconds. And then point in the direction. Don't ever call 3 seconds. That's just an aside. The next one is a 5-second throw-in violation or 5-second closely guarded. So during live play, closely guarded or on a throw-in, we've got 5 seconds. So it's beep, 5, okay, 5, and then we're gonna point in the other direction, spot throw-in. All right, and then we have a 10-second backcourt violation. So beep, 10 for a backcourt violation that has taken longer than 10 seconds to get up the court.
And on a throw-in, you can't move within 3 feet, and it's not trapping.
All right, very good. Yeah, so a throw-in violation. So if I'm on a spot throw-in,
6-foot spot.
it's a 3-foot box, but yes, you have a 3-foot box, but you can, as long as you're somewhere within the box, you can move. So yeah, that's good. Thank you for that, because on a spot throw-in, you're not restricted to stand in stone. You can still move. You just have to stay within your 3-foot box. Okay. So what's 3 feet? What do you think 3 feet is? Is this 3 feet? Is this roughly 3 feet? You think?
In golf, I'd say that's a yard.
That's 3 feet. Okay, a yard and 3 feet. I'm pretty sure that's still the correct. Yeah. Okay. Good. So here's the thing. Okay, if this is my 3 feet box, okay, I can move on a spot. This is still legal. Okay, and I can also move in this direction. All right, so I can move here, and as even as much as lifting my foot, as long as my foot here is still inside that 3-foot box, I'm good. So I really can move. You can move on a spot, and that's not a violation. But if you go outside of that, if you run outside of your 3-foot box, and again, don't split hairs. Don't be that gotcha referee. Most of the time, most players don't even know that you can move on a spot. Okay, but if they do, or if they just happen to, and they're within the rules, don't be that guy that says, "Oh, I got you." That's a spot throwing violation. No, they still have that 3-foot box. But if it is a clear spot violation, what Al said is it's not a travel. It's not a travel when you're in a throw-in situation out of bounds. It's going to be just it's whistle spot violation, and you're going to voice it out loud. You're going to point like you would for a spot throw-in, and you're just going to say spot violation. Okay, that's it.
And you can go back as far as you want. At Christ Church, you can go back to the wall.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Christ Church has a lot of space, but yes, that's the other thing about this 3-foot box. It's only laterally. Okay, if there's 20 feet between the end line and the back wall, you can go all the way back to the back wall within that 3-foot box. I can go back as far as I need to go. That's okay. All right.
And if you can't go back that far, if the wall is right there, you ask the defender to give you 3 foot.
Correct. Yeah. So if the wall's right here and I got nowhere to go as the thrower in, and I instead of that defender being right up on the line defending, you're gonna push the defender back. Basically, you're just gonna imagine 3 feet and give that player 3 feet of space. Okay.
And one more thing about throw. After a made basket, a player can come out of bounds, in bounds, and out of bounds. You can pass it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So on a made basket, you have a run. The player has the run of the end line on a made basket. So before I go there, let me just say, let's say we have a timeout after a made basket. Okay, we have a timeout after a made basket. When we come in from the timeout, the way I'm going to start play is, first of all, I'm going to look to my partners and make sure they're good. I'm going to blow my whistle. I'm going to probably bounce the ball to the player, but before I do that, I'm going to say, you have the run of the end line. Okay, and visibly you're going to see it on video, and I'm going to verbalize it. You have the run of the end line, right? Then I'll bounce the player, and then I'll start my 5-second count and all that. Okay, but if they have the run of the end line, okay, then like if Steven's on my team and I've got the ball out of bounds for a run of the end line, Steven can run out of bounds, and I can pass the ball to Steven, and that's fine. And then I can step in bounds, and he can pass it into me, and we're good. We can go. Steven can step out. If David's on my team, David can step out. If James is on my team, James can step out. All 5 players can step out of bounds, and we can just pass it amongst each other. We're just only under the restriction of 5-second, out of bounds situation. All right? So on the run, you can do that. On a spot, you can't, but on the run, you can. All right? Does that make sense to everybody? That's good. Thank you, Al. All right, good. On that note, another reminder, no meeting next week. I will be giving out gifts to some of these guys here, but the video's going off. So, all right, before you leave, I got some gifts to give away.